Does anyone have any questions on the assessment or on the problem set? Okay, so 7D on the assessment. So just let me open that up. Okay. Okay, so question 7D asks you to plot these three vectors that you found, A2, B2, and C2, so that they form a triangle. Okay? So I'm going to stop sharing just for a second here. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you for a second here, Ryan. Okay? Ryan? Can you hear me? Ryan? Ah. Okay, so Ryan, but Derek, yours is though? Can everyone hear me still?
Now?
I'm really paranoid about my
Hello?
microphone cutting out the way it did this morning. That was just awful. Okay, yeah. So is that Ryan or is that Derek?
Wait, is mine working now?
Is that Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you. Great.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
with mine, when I did it, it doesn't look like it could even make a triangle. And I was curious with another question. You
sure.
mentioned forearm, but then you used the upper arm um, vector sign or vector name.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up GeoGebra and illustrate what I'm getting at here in GeoGebra. So keep in mind that two vectors are considered equivalent if they have the same direction and the same length. Okay. So just
Okay.
wait as I bring up GeoGebra here. Um, okay. All right. So I'm just going to drop down a couple of vectors here. Okay. And how about this one here? Okay. So I've got a couple vectors here, right? And I'm going to draw another vector joining B and C so that they form a triangle here. Right? Okay. But take a look. Take a look at this vector w that was just formed, right? So it says that this is the vector 3, -1. Right? So if I input that vector down in GeoGebra, 3, -1. Oops. Darn it. I need an extra set of brackets here. Sorry. Watch what GeoGebra does. See how it spits out this vector that's emanating from the origin?
Yeah.
So this vector, this new vector that we just made here, it hasn't given it a name yet, A, this vector A, is in fact the same vector as this vector W.
Okay. Yeah, because when I'm looking at mine, even if I did a line to, because we're matching up the A and B or the C and like, because I have all mine, but it looks more like a trapezoid than a triangle.
So you've only got 3 vectors, so it can't be a trapezoid.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a triangle though.
Okay.
I can't match it up because the lines and with all my think I'm doing all my equations correctly.
Okay. So how about just give me a second. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to allow you to share, but I'm also going to open up a file here so I can check what you're doing. Okay, so Ryan. Okay, so okay, good. So you go ahead and share your stuff. All right. So you got so can you make that a little bit bigger for my terrible eyes? So A2, perfect, thank you. So C2 is this guy here, right? So that was C2, right?
Yep.
So Ryan, quickly give me the last 4 digits of your student number.
3364.
Just trying to figure out what you did wrong here. Okay. Um, so okay, so for your vector C2, what are the values you have there? What is the
Negative 5.2
and 3?
and 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and then A2 is negative 2.85 or so, or 2.86.
Yeah, 2.86 and then negative 4.1.
Okay, yeah, so that's correct so far.
And then B is negative 2.34 and 7.1.
And B2, right?
Yep.
Negative 2.34 and what?
Yep. 7.1.
Okay, so where's B2? So, okay, so can you make that a little bit bigger for me so I can see again? Okay, so B2 is this guy here. So C2. Oh, I think I see what's going on. E2.
Unless somehow B2
Something
is
doesn't look
incorrect on
right
the
there,
chart.
right? So you're A2. I'm not sure what the heck's going on with yours. Compare the two. Yeah, nothing really looks right about yours. Okay, can you make it a little bit bigger?
Like which thing? Sorry.
Your picture. That's all. I think that's okay. I need to be able to see all the endpoints though. Okay, so that's fine. So that the one pointing upwards is A, right? Is A2?
B2.
B2. A2 is pointing downwards. A2 looks good. Oh, I see what you've done here. I see what you've done. Ah, okay. So here's the problem. Now I know what you've done incorrectly. So C2, right? That should be emanating from the origin.
Okay, so that's pretty easy change. Give me a
Yep.
second.
You turn it into a position vector, right?
How do you get it back to nothing? How do you clear this again?
So if you just right click on C2. Oh wait, you've okay, you got rid of it. Everything's gone. Yeah.
Where did my B2 and C2 go? Yeah, they're
I
both
think
gone.
you deleted them. You can re-enter them though, right?
Yeah, but somehow it's still in the settings. I mean,
Can
in the
you
options for it.
can you just go Control Z back and undo?
There we go.
Okay.
What?
There we go. And now that A2 vector, right, the tail of it should be down at the head of A2, and the head will be up at C2 if you just move that vector A2.
You mean move B2?
Is that the one point? Is that the one up top? My eyes are so bad I can't see. Yeah, just, yeah.
Yes, the one pointing upwards is B2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't remember how to put it. Oh, wait, never mind. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now it looks good.
Yeah.
So I thought you remember maybe you did some calculations wrong, but you didn't. They were just positioned incorrectly.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions?
Nope. Thank you.
Great, no problem. Does anyone else have any questions they'd like to go over? 4B, point H doesn't wave while it was moving between baskets. So yeah, the point H should move around as you vary T, that slider that you make in that question. So it should look like it bounces all around. Yeah, that's right. So that should be so when you put in h, right? The x component is this 48 minus 10t, and the y component is the absolute value of a times 1 minus the sine of 2 pi t. And then when you vary t, but it doesn't wave. Can you share what you've got? Okay. I'm just going to unmute you for a second here.
H.
Okay, so can you show me where you defined h? Let's take a look at the definition. So can you over in your algebra bar where all of your functions and your points are? Can you hover on h and click on h and show me the properties for h?
Yeah. H, yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Can you just change? So in the properties here, can you change absolute abs a to 9? Just humor me here. Okay, I'll click OK. Apply. Still doing this craziness. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay, can you open up the properties again? Hmm. So the slider, it's just a number, right?
Yeah, this number.
Hmm.
Slider.
Okay, fine.
From 0 to 7.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the increment is it should be the max should be the absolute value of a plus the absolute value of d divided by 2, right?
Yeah. Increment 1.
Yeah, that's
1.
perfectly fine. I'm just kind of wondering why it's not working. It looks like it's input correctly.
Even with the vector also doesn't win, but doesn't win.
Hold on a second. So you've got h as a vector?
No, H is a point, but I add the E,
Right.
this small e as vector. But
Okay.
I can delete this E.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh.
I don't think it matters. It shouldn't. Well, you know what? Try deleting it. Deleting E. Just get rid of E for a second.
Deleted it, yeah?
Yeah, you can delete that. That's fine. It shouldn't matter though. That's weird. Okay, so try it again. It's still sliding back and forth like a line. That's so strange.
No.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, you know what? So try making your scale a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we're just not recording the movements because the scale is so coarse. Yeah, try now. Try moving it. No, it still looks like a straight line to me.
No.
That's odd.
That's,
Can you send me your file and I can have a look at how you've entered it?
yeah. No problem.
But
And by
you know,
email, yeah.
yeah. So send it to me now and I'll have a quick look at it. But yeah, that's very strange. It looks like it's input correctly.
Okay. I send you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So did everyone get the email that I sent yesterday, yesterday night, with the links to the meetings and the passwords?
Yes.
Okay, great. I think I see the problem.
Yes.
When you set the slider, right? You set it
Uh,
to. Did you set the slider to a number or an integer?
uh, number integer. I set to assign to number, I think.
So if you're going from 0 to 7, right, and your increments are 1 each time, right, you're just doing multiples of 2 pi. It seems, right? So
Yes.
it's not surprising that it's not bouncing, right? So I think if you change the increment, that's going to.
Yeah, I just delete the increment totally and
Okay.
then
And now
give
it's
them
working.
waveless,
Yeah,
incredible
so it was just
movie.
multiples of 2 pi. I had to think about it for a second and look at your settings. But yeah, I think that's it.
Uh,
And that makes sense, right? Because you're only doing multiples of 2 pi, so it's the same thing over and over, right?
yes.
It's essentially the same angle or the same number with respect to the sine function. So yeah.
Oh,
So now it works.
yeah, now
Okay.
works.
Awesome. Great.
Yes, significantly moving.
Good. Good. It's
Really.
supposed to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Okay. So now everyone sees what it's supposed to do, right? So this is O's example now that it's fixed. It's the ball bouncing away from the basket. So don't set your increment to 1. All right. Ah, yeah. So Raymond had the answer a few minutes ago. Very nice. Raymond, you should have said something. Saved me some time. Does anyone else have any questions? Does anyone else have any questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, so I've unmuted everyone, and I just want to be sure because I just got an email from students. Hello, I just got an email from one of my students, one of the students saying that they didn't receive the email with the links yesterday with the links for the web meetings. Did everyone receive that email with the passwords?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
I haven't checked mine yet.
okay, so everyone's got it.
I have.
Okay, great. Does anyone else have a question? Anyone like me to take a look at their work? Are they having any sort of problem at all?
Jeffrey, for question 5,
Yes.
I'm not sure I did it correct because it looks like so weird because this as a arm, human's arm.
Okay. Yeah.
I can share with yeah.
I'm just gonna take a look at your work here again.
Here the A1. Can you see that? Yeah. Jeffrey?
Second. Okay. Yeah.
Here A1 and B1 one. But I don't think it's correct because if there is a human's arm,
Well, I mean,
this
your vectors based on your student numbers may twist.
yeah,
Yeah, it may
student number,
twist your
yeah,
imagination. Just a second. I
yeah.
can quickly check whether. Okay, so you're.
Student number A is 9, C is 8. So I got A1 is 9, is negative 9 and 8. B1 is 9, 8. So they are totally separated.
Mm-hmm. So what did you get for A1?
A1 negative 9, 8.
That's correct. Yeah. And what about B1?
B1 9, 8.
That's correct. And then C1?
C1 here, negative 18 and 0.
Negative 18 and 0.
Yeah.
So C1 should have just been the sum of A1 and B1.
Should just be between the A1 and the B1, yeah?
Yes. So it should be the sum of A1 and B1.
Some?
So the tail of C1 should be at the tail of A1. and the head of C1 should be at the head of B1. So C1 should have just been the sum of the two vectors, A1, B1.
Okay. That should be 0 and 16, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
C1 is here.
I see. So C1, right.
Is here.
That's right. And you can take B1 and move it so that the tail of B1 is at the head of A1, and then it'll match up, right? So the vector that joins the head of A1, the tip of it, to the tip of, what is it, C1, should be just be B1. So if you imagine you take B1 and just slide it along A1 till you get to the tail of B1 is at the tip, then it'll match up with the head of C1.
No, don't understand.
Okay, so the vector. So if you make the vector,
Yeah.
So what point is the vector A1? So if you make the vector whose first point is the point that you get by using the coordinates of your vector A1, so -9, +8.
-9, positive 8.
So
Yeah.
make a vector
Yeah.
with starting point -9, 8, and ending point 0, 16.
0, 16, which is C1, yeah? Oh,
So the vector should have starting point -9, 8 and end point 0, 16. So if you make a new vector on the input bar there, yeah. So start point and end point.
what?
Oh, you're going to want the point, not the vector. So you're going to have to, I think you have to enter in a point. You can't just pass it a vector, I think.
Oh, ah,
So you see those two vectors, that B1 and that new vector you made are exactly the same vectors, right? So they have the same magnitude, they have the same direction. So that should be
yes.
your B1. That should be your B1, right? Well,
There
in
is
fact, it is your B1. It's the same vector.
Yeah,
But now it looks correct. You have the correct triangle.
yeah, that one should be B1, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, definitely.
problem.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So that's class. Tomorrow we'll definitely be starting chapter 12. So if you can, take a look at those slides before you come to class tomorrow. I'm gonna get up nice and early and make sure everything's working into a dry run of my meeting before it actually happens, because that was really a terrible thing that happened this morning, losing the technology. But it is what it is. So I'll see everyone tomorrow then.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
See you
See you
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
It's tomorrow. Bye.
everyone was trying to contribute. It was so good. Really good class just now. Hold on. Just gotta mute